Okay, I just want to take a moment here and show you how emotions work, because emotions affect how we think every single day. And emotions also have a dramatic impact in what we actually follow through and do, and also affects what we don't do. So here's a picture of a person. This is going to be you. And inside your body, this is like a storage tank. There's different places in your body that we store different emotions. As we've been growing up in our life, over the years, we have had experiences that have had some tough things that have happened to us, and emotions get caught and lodged into our body because we felt the pain or the discomfort of a situation, and we felt it in different places in our body. And these pockets of emotion, like let's say this is an emotion, inside of an emotion there's an experience, and then there's what we felt. And so this experience has feelings, it has the details of what happened, it also has thoughts, and it all comes together in this particular, I guess we can just call it a memory. This then becomes one of these, and it's felt in the body. And the body is a book. It is a record of everything that's happened to us. So our book, or the record of what's happened to us, can have all kinds of emotions stuck inside of us. And sometimes these emotions get really big. And when they get big over time, get heavy. And as they get heavy, we actually feel heavy. We feel heavy. We feel like we move slower. We feel like things that we do are hard. Even these emotions, when they become larger and larger, they can affect that part of the body to not function very well. Like you could have a constant sore neck, or just a pain in your side, or maybe your digestive system doesn't work very well, or maybe your knee hurts all the time. But these can actually start to cause ailments because of all the negative energy that's in there. Now, of course, there's always good, there's positive energy and there's negative energy, and we have good memories, but the ones that hurt us, of course, are going to be the negative ones. And those negative ones, they cause us problems. And so what we need to do is we need to get these emotions out. We need to get them out, not let them stay there. Because along our life of growing up, we were not taught that these emotions can come out. It's just skipped. Being a kid, like, okay, yeah, if you ever feel something bad, well, you can remove that bad feeling. You don't have to have that bad feeling in you all the time. And so that's what I like to help people do, is be able to bring those emotions out of them. So if these emotions are gone, there's an open spot. Like imagine this whole thing right here is gone. If that's gone and the negative is gone, then that means that there's room for positive to come in. I'm not kidding, like 9.5 out of 10 people I meet don't have a process of how to do this. They don't do anything about this. And so it just collects in their body. And then what happens is they wonder why all these troubles that they're having with their health, or in their life, or in their business, or whatever they're doing, when their relationships, it's because they're all cluttered up with all these negative pockets of emotion because of past experiences and things that have happened. And they're just literally, they just need to get cleaned up on the inside. And so people today don't do that. I'm sure you don't do that. You don't clean up your emotional state because it's never considered that that's actually something you can clean up. You can clean up your emotional state. Usually inside of a person's body, there will be about 70 to 80% that is negative, and then it's going to be about 20 to 30% that is positive. No wonder we as people struggle so bad, because we're dealing with so much negativity inside. And when you have negative emotions, guess what it does? It causes you to have negative thinking. It affects the way you think. So all these feelings, if you have 70 to 80% of these negative emotions that have gathered along life, no wonder it would cause you to have negative thoughts all the time. And so now you have these feelings and these thoughts. That's going to make you feel terrible. It's going to be really hard to be positive, because every time you try to put positive in, it's like there's not enough room, because there's like 70 to 80% is already filled in with negative. And so you try to do all these positive things, but the positive has nowhere to fit because it's blocked by all these other negative emotions. So that's why it's so hard to be positive. And on a spiritual note, if you have 70 to 80% negative inside of you from your life experiences or big, huge situations that have happened to you, then the devil will stir up these negative emotions and have power over you to cause you to be mean and grumpy grumpy and depressed and all these things, the devil will use that negative energy against you, and he will stir you up. Like it says in the good book, you'll get stirred up to anger. So if you have anger or sadness or frustration in any of these emotions, the devil can stir you up and always put you in this grumpy, upset state of being. This many negative emotions then starts to produce all these negative thoughts. And on an average, people have 65,000 thoughts. 65,000 thoughts, and they find that people are around 40 to 47,000 of those are negative. So we're mostly negative emotions and negative thoughts, and so it makes it really hard to pursue a goal or to stay positive or stay on a good track because we have so much negative we're dealing with. It just makes it really, really hard to make this work. And so how are you supposed to get ahead in life if you don't clean up the emotions? And you also got to clean up your thoughts, because negative thoughts can cause negative emotions. So we got to clean up the head and the body. That's what we have to do, is clean up both of these. And so what you do, a beginner way to start this, which is really good, is you use a process to identify these emotions. And what you do is you start out with some standard emotions. And here's some standard emotions: frustration, sad, anger, disappointment, and embarrassment. Now there's some others: scared, worried, nervous, afraid, overwhelmed, and discouraged. These are some common standard emotions that are negative, that have a negative effect on us, right? Now, what we want to do is we want to search our body and see if there's emotions. We're looking to see if this emotion is in our body, and we're going to look, and if it is, then we need to have it come up and out, up and out. Now, what you do is you use a search sentence. This is called a searching sentence. We're looking to see if in the body, right here, if frustration is inside of us. So we use this search sentence called "I feel frustrated because," and this is the searching question. Do I feel frustrated? So what we're going to do is we're going to act as though we know we feel frustrated, and we're going to find out all the reasons. So we're actually identifying where in my body and in my past have I felt frustrated. I feel frustrated because. So I'm going to look. This is not a manifestation question. This is a searching so that I can find, so that I can remove. Search, find, and remove. That's the whole intention here, is to search, find, and remove. So how are you supposed to remove something if you don't go looking for it? Okay, so we have to have a way to go look to see if we have it, and if we have it, then we need to remove it. So I feel frustrated because, so I'm searching to find if I have frustration inside of me. So what I would do is I would write that at the top of my paper. I feel frustrated. I feel frustrated because. Then I start to write down all the reasons why I would feel frustrated. And maybe I do bullet points, or maybe it's sentences, but I ask myself, where am I frustrated in my life? With any person, with any situation, with anything, anytime, today, yesterday, last week, last month, last year, the last 5 years, last 10 years, anytime in my life, when have I ever felt frustrated? So I'm going to gather all of those frustrations together onto the same page, because I'm looking so I can find these, because I'm looking for it. Where is it? So I can find it. If I can find it, I can remove it. If I can't find it, I can't remove it. So I need to find it and see how much I have inside of me. So I use this sentence starter. I find all the reasons why I'm frustrated. Now, I suggest, if you've never done this before, give yourself a time limit, just so it's just a little bit of practice each day. So this is a daily practice, looking for what's inside you that is holding you back, because it's taking over your body and it's taking over your brain. So we're looking for this. You write down all the reasons why you're frustrated. Now, what you've done now is you've gathered all this information together on this paper. And what this does for you is you've identified, here's all the reasons why I'm frustrated. Now, here at the very beginning, when you're learning how to do this, the next step is to choose. I don't want this inside me. So the next step is to choose if you want to keep it or not. Do you want to get rid of it or not? You have to make a choice. And this whole process is teaching your brain, your mind, how to handle emotions. You got to remember that you had to teach your brain how to tie a shoe. Your brain doesn't know what to do with emotions. That's why it stores it all. It doesn't know what to do. Oh, I feel bad. Okay, now what? Now you just keep bad? We have to teach our brain that we let go of emotions. Nobody taught us how to let go of emotions. We don't know how to let go. So do we want to keep this or do we want to let it go? That's the question. Keep it or let it go? And so what do you want to do with it? Because remember, you had to teach your brain how to tie a shoe. There's no automatic process of how to handle your emotions. There's not. You're in a situation where you're realizing right now, wait a minute, I've never taught my mind how to handle emotions. So you've gathered all of it so you can see how much you have. Because you probably right now don't even know, with all these different emotions, you probably don't even know the quantities you have. You don't even know, is it like a pound, 5 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds? Because emotions have weight. They have weight to them. And once this adds up in weight, you feel heavy. And if you feel heavy, you feel like you're being pulled down. Emotions have weight. You don't know how much you have. So that's why this is weird to your brain. It's like, what's wrong with this? I feel like I can't move. I feel like I don't want to get up. I feel like I can't start. We got to teach our brain how to do this. So we gather all that we can find so we can see the quantity. This is the quantity, right? Quantity. That's what we're finding. The quality of what's going on inside of us is like, yeah, I got frustration. That's low quality. I don't want to keep low quality. And now I'm going to find out the quantity. This is a quality control on the body. It's like, okay, that's not good quality to have that much negative. We'd rather have that be all positive, but we got to clean up. And I'll tell you, people assume that somehow their body naturally eliminates negative emotions. And if it's like it does, when does that happen? Tell me where that happens in your life, where your brain and body naturally purge negative emotions. Tell me, where does it happen? When does it happen? And how does it happen? It's because it doesn't. It does not automatically purge negative emotions. If it did, then we would have everybody being happy, everybody being nice to each other. Everybody would wake up super refreshed and everything's okay. So we're the ones who are in charge of quality control inside of our body, and we don't even know the quantity. We don't even know what's in us, and we don't know how much. So one time is not enough. This has to be a regular cleansing. And I suggest to people when they first start to do this for 3 days in a row, and then to get on a regular schedule to do this on the odd days of the month. Odd days of the month, we do this. Okay, so then you're choosing, I want to let it go. So at the beginning, your brain needs a really simple way as an example of how to let it go. How do I do this? So I tell my clients, you just take the paper that you just wrote on of all the frustration you found. You found the quality of the emotion was frustration. You chose not to keep it. Here's all of the stories that have the emotion. So what happens is you unloaded some of your frustration onto this paper. Now just remember this. Remember this. You unload on paper, not people. So you write down all your reasons why you're frustrated and you give yourself 15 to 20 minutes. You choose to let it go. You're learning to unload on paper, not unload frustration on people. Then you take the paper, and then what you do is you start tear it up into tiny, tiny pieces, the whole entire thing into the smallest, tiniest pieces, and then you throw them all away. So what did you just teach your brain? You just told your brain to take this and to disassemble it into tiny pieces. So it's not a mass anymore. We've tore it up into tiny pieces so we can teach our brain that I can handle frustration. Look, that's a piece of frustration. And then you go to the garbage can. Let's just go to the garbage can, and you let it go. So now your brain sees it leave. It's gone. Look, it's not in my hand. It's gone. So you just taught your brain, I can find all the pieces. I then can disassemble this into smaller pieces. And because of my choice, I choose to let it go. And from this point on, I am not going to unload on people. I'm going to unload on paper. So what's happening? You're taking charge of yourself. We lose power. We start to feel powerless, and we can't do what we want to do because we are cluttered and burdened with negative emotions and negative thoughts. So what I would suggest you do is on the odd days of the month, pick one of these. If you want to pick other emotions, there's all kinds of emotions to pick. The sentence helps you search to find the quantity, and then when you're done, you choose to let it go, and then you tear it up, and then you throw it away. Now, the opposite of this is on the even days of the month, I feel, and then you use the searching sentence, and in this sentence, you can find happy, joy, love, forgiveness. You can find all of these positive emotions on the even days of the month. And this paper, when you're done writing this for 15 to 20 minutes, this paper you choose to keep. So then what your brain does is it starts to replace the negative that you choose to remove with the positive you choose to keep. You have to teach your brain what you want in your body. Since it doesn't know what you want, it keeps everything. It's just what it does. It doesn't know anything different because it hasn't been trained. And this is just a missing piece in our evolution as a human being from being born to where we are today, is this whole process of how to take care of ourselves and to be able to do this. Now, during the day, you're going to have experiences with people that are going to cause you to feel emotions, and there's going to be emotions that could trigger you. When those triggers happen or you have a bad moment, you want to get a note or on your phone or get a notepad and write down the emotions that you're feeling, because then you can come back to this process and go, okay, what did I feel? That was a new emotion. Wow, that was not the quality I want. I don't want that quality. I wonder if I have more. What's the quantity? I'm going to find out how many different experiences or how many different areas of my life I'm feeling this emotion that I just felt today. And now you're going to start to literally detox yourself emotionally. Detox. So we know that toxins get in our body from the air, from the ground, from things, from products, from foods we eat, and they always talk about detoxing our body. We also need to detox emotionally. Now, one other thing that happens with the let go process, when you choose to let it go, you might feel like you want to say, I'm sorry, or you might feel like you want to apologize, or you might want to find yourself saying, I forgive myself, or I forgive the other person, and you let it go. Now, this is a daily practice because it might not feel like you let it go, but when you threw the piece of paper away, you felt the paper go away. So until you feel the emotion go away, you're going to tear up the paper so you feel that you can disassemble that mass. And when you go to throw it away, you feel you throwing it away and you see yourself throwing it away. So before you actually feel it inside that the actual emotion left, we're teaching your skin and teaching your body that you can simulate letting it go until your emotions start to come loose and actually flow out of you. Another way that people have had great experiences with this is that they'll take the paper and they'll go out onto the back porch in a metal can or on their barbecue, and they will light it on fire, and they like to watch it burn. And this is not out of like, I'm gonna destroy this. We're teaching our brain that it can go away. That's what we're showing, is that it can come up and out of us. Now, this is not saying that your emotions are trash. What you feel is real, but negativity can hurt you. It can actually kill you. Negativity can crush a person's psychology. It can crush their motivation. It can crush their hopes and dreams. Negativity is not good. We experience it, but it's not good. And so to let our negative emotions go is not letting our soul go. That's not our soul. This is not our soul. Negativity is like mud and dirt on our soul. It's not part of us. It's an experience you had. So over here, you just let go of the negative emotion. The experience is still a real historical experience, but you don't need to keep the negative impact of that experience. There's no rule in the world that says we have to keep the negative experience because that hurts us. We can learn from the experience, we can gain from the experience only after we remove the negativity. Because until then, it's a negative experience that's hurting us. But every experience we can actually learn from. Negative emotions are not part of our identity. It's an experience we're having, and it is an energy. And if it gets inside of us, it will hurt us. It will grow day by day by day by day until it takes us over and we lose power because our soul is weighed upon by negative emotions. This is how people become powerless, and this is how people literally stop living, is because they're so heavy with negative emotions. And we all have terrible things that happen to us and difficult things and just irritating things. All of those small irritations grow, and they turn into regret, resentment, hate, anger, sadness. And when they get big and heavy, this weighs upon us. And guess what that leads to? Depression. Heavy emotions that weigh upon us cause us to feel depressed and powerless and hopeless and helpless. So good. Okay, we want to find the quality, like what is this? So we have a list of emotions we choose from. On the odd days of the month, you take one of these emotions and you go searching. How much do I have? Quantity. I got to find it. I want to see how much is inside my body. I want to see all the stories and all the situations that are going on. You need to purge and detox. And you do not let anybody read this. Do not share this with anyone, what you wrote. This is dangerous, toxic material that can hurt other people if they read it. Don't let other people read it. Our body needs help and our brain needs help. They are not automatically trained to do this themselves. That's why we have to do this work for it. And as we keep doing it, our brain and body will learn that what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. And if you ever have a day that you get triggered, or if you ever have a day that emotions pop up, be sure that you're writing down the emotion. And if you can remember, where did you feel it? Then when it's the odd day of the month, take that emotion or immediately do the detox. This is the detox. Take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself in this way, nobody else will. It's just not going to happen. You have to look inside, make sure everything's okay. And I've been doing this process now for 18 years. What helps me keep my head straight and my heart straight, because right behind all of this, guess what's behind all of this? Your heart. Your heart's in there somewhere, and it smothers your heart. It's tough to feel loved when there's yucky things piled on top of it. So if you don't feel love, there's all kinds of emotions that are sitting on top of it. It's still there, it's just covered up. And you want to know where your enthusiasm is? It's behind all this. You want to know where your motivation is? It's all behind this. Your motivation, your light, your enthusiasm, your vision of who you are, your gifts and talents are all hidden behind this pile. We got to dig ourselves out. It works. So do the work. Teach your brain not only how to tie your shoe, but how to detox. Smart thing to do, especially in the world today. And then when you see a friend or a family member struggling, sit down and teach them the same thing, right? Cool. All right, Kirk out.